Welcome to the Friends and Brothers podcast. I am Rob, and this is Marcus. We'd like to first wish you a very happy new year. Friends and Brothers is a channel to discuss all topics concerning modern men. Our mission is to change lives and be a resource for you as you find or regain your inner yelp. Thanks for tuning in today as we talk about shortcuts to success. And if you like our podcast, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's dive in, Marcus, shall we?
Yeah, no shortcuts, man.
So it's the beginning of the year. Instead of just talking about resolutions and our goals, which I think that's a key part of it, right?
Right.
I think going that next step further is how do we get there, right? And that's why I wanted to talk about this topic today because everyone signs up for those gym memberships or makes these great aspirations, and that's great. But we're unfortunately so often we're looking for that quick fix, or how do we get there faster, right? I think it's just such a travesty that we have professionals out there trying to make a name for themselves by selling just pure out being sellouts, right? And it's not just a new thing.
It's been in our industry for 40,
decades,
50, 60 years and getting worse.
Yeah. I mean, there's cheats who've been a part of the game, whatever game it was, was doing a little research earlier. And you have some baseball greats dating back to the turn of the previous century, right? So, baseball, you have, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, the list goes on, right? And you were supposed to be looking up to these people, and instead they're cheating, right? I mean, in my line of work, Lance Armstrong is one, and quite frankly, I'm one of the several, but not. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm one of the many who just think this guy's a complete douchebag. I mean, he just hopped up on steroids for his entire career. He's a complete sellout. He's a father, making this kind of, giving this kind of example, to his children, to other youth. And I think that's completely pathetic. He tormented people in the whole process of it. So it's not even just the fact that he used steroids even. He sold this whole idea to the entire public and then tripled down on it, not even just doubled down, but tripled down on it, even filed lawsuits against people when he was the one in the wrong. I mean, he was literally making physical and verbal threats to people for years.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you can conceivably, consciously call yourself a good father and do this.
Well,
yet alone, be a coach or be a respectable, human being.
Right. So the thing is with that, you bring up a couple of different points, and maybe we'll get on a couple of them. But the first one I wanted to address, was the use of some kind of extracurricular induced whatever drug or something.
Right. Steroids.
Yeah, I mean, call it what it is. That's been going on forever. And I don't have a particular problem with people using that. But the problem that I have, and again, as a man and as a coach, here's exactly what you're talking about, is you're representing yourself as I'm this great athlete or I'm this great competitor.
Right.
And it's completely false, because you're selling the idea that you accomplish this all on your own through nutrition, through training, when in fact you've been lying to everybody else. And doing it with all kinds of illegal things that you are using to get you where you want to go. Using Lance's story, if you ever watch any of these documentaries, especially on him, it'll talk about him being a non-competitor.
Well, the Tour, the Tour de France, right?
Yeah,
it's called a tour. It's not a race, but it's a tour.
In his cycling days, he was a decent rider, but he never was in a competition with any of the top level riders until he started doing some of these things. Now, he's not alone, so let's not just...
Oh, no, he's not. Like on the tour, right? If you take the last 10 years, you might have one person not testing positive. Which is why I really don't get in that professional cycling as much. I just can't get behind the idea that, I'm going to do all these drugs to be better, because my personal opinion, you're not better.
Well, and that's the thing. Okay, so here's some other examples that that are going on. They have all this stuff where they're talking about people being natural or not, right? So they call it natty and those kinds of things that are running around.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to sit there and bold-faced lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, I'm natural," and then you come back and ask them, "Oh well, I've been on TRT or HRT or some other variation of some kind of replacement therapy." Well, that's either doctor prescribed or not, but it's also enhancing that person. You're not natural, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what it is that you're thinking. Um, and there's ways of doing those kinds of things that don't require that. But in my mind, I'm with you. I mean, that's the thing. It's like if you need it from a medical standpoint, that's one thing. You have to have a steroid injection to help your joints replace and after whatever, not replace, but to heal up, those kinds of things.
Yeah, but
don't
anything
represent
performance
your,
enhancing, right?
yeah, right. Don't represent yourself as the end all be all with this one step process of how you got someplace. Like, oh, I'm going to eat a cheeseburger 5 times a day and I'm 5% body fat. No.
Yeah, if it smells like shit, it probably is shit.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that we as consumers keep gobbling up all this false information, and it's on the internet, it's on social media, it's on your phone, it's everywhere, and people buy into it. And I understand that they buy into it because human beings want things to be easy and
Well, they want the end result, but they don't want the work to get there,
of course. Well,
right? They
would
just
you? I
want the
mean,
result.
I don't blame them. I would perfectly love to say, okay, it's easy to say, yeah, like I said, I can have 5 cheeseburgers a day, eat 5% body fat, and have the perfect body. But it's just not going to happen that way. So it's
So
go ahead.
yeah, no, you go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I was going to say is that's just part of human nature that we're fighting with, and on a daily basis, what I am challenged to do is to communicate to folks that I have in front of me that there is no simple fix. Again, we talked about this in the past, but when it comes to representing what it is that you're all about, I represent all those kinds of things. I don't do drugs. I've never done any of those kinds of things. I just straight up have to work my butt off to get any kind of gains from a physical standpoint. Now, again, I know I have some athletic abilities. I'm not saying I don't have those genetically, but it takes a lot of work to get to where I need to be.
And just like everything else too, I have a friend who grew up dyslexic, but he's a dentist now, right? So,
Yes.
like it's just a little bit tougher for that individual, right? To get to accomplish something, but it's very much achievable. I know people
Absolutely.
without ligaments, right? Like literally
Right.
they have like, because maybe they're born with a childhood disease of sorts, or they got into an accident, they've gone on to become like world-class athletes. You don't have to have the right formula put together to be the best of yourself, right?
Absolutely. But the thing is too, is like if you see any of these what do you call them, influencers that are out there, right?
God.
And they're typically going to be the younger folks between like that 20 and 35-year-old age group. The ones that I've all seen, you can pick whether they're men or women, guys or girls. You can tell that about 90-95% of them are on something. You can just see it in them. I've been
Yeah.
around the business and people long enough to see it. And that for me is very problematic because when I have folks that I work with, these are whether it's young adults in their teen years or the older folks, they want to accomplish something, whether it's a physique or feel better or any of those kinds of things. Well, why can't I be this? Well, you can be the best you, but these are the things that these people are doing to get there, and that's not the way you should go about this, because not only is it short-term gain, because again, those gains go away. Look at all the professional bodybuilders on the men and women's side. They've used steroids and various other kinds of things all throughout their career, but now you look at them, they're about 150 pounds lighter than they were when they went in competing, and that's because they don't have all that extra going on in their system anymore.
And it's not even like muscle, right? At a certain point.
Right. That's absolutely right. It's like taking a straw and blowing it into your body and just blowing it up like you're a balloon. I mean,
Right.
Those are the kinds of things you got to keep in mind. Now, if you're the folks that want to have that, okay, that's all on you. But that's not what we're about. That's not what Rob or I are
No.
about. That's not how we coach people, and that's what we're addressing today. Guys, there is a way of doing it and getting to where you want to go the right way, or the clean way, or
So you
with
mentioned earlier, though,
integrity, or whatever you want to call it.
I want to make a clarification though, Marcus, because you did say a simple fix, and my only caveat to that was it is simple, but it's not a quick fix actually, right?
Correct.
It's not quick, it's not easy,
No.
but it is simple. Just got to put
Right.
in the goddamn work.
You have to
Period.
put in the work.
That's all you have to do. Put in the work.
It's put in the work. It's just one step at a time.
Yeah.
And you
I mean,
gotta
and it doesn't have to be all or nothing at once.
The process.
It's something you build, right? We talked about the 2 minute activity, right? And you said you do the 3 minute, right?
Exactly.
It starts there though, right?
Right.
And now another friend posted something. I think he posted it today. He's also a gym owner, and he said, you know, what's the most difficult thing? To sign up, to start, or to finish?
A person?
Anything you do, what's the most difficult activity? Is it to sign up for the activity, to train for the activity, or to finish the activity?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the person. I mean, I can't speak to that from anybody else's
I guarantee it's signing up is the most difficult thing.
The signing up part?
Yes. More people, because you're not going to finish it if you don't even sign up for it.
Yeah, I know. Well, getting in the front door, or wherever it is, signing up. Yeah.
I meet, I don't know, countless people who say, Rob, you do triathlons. That's awesome. I'd love to do one. I just, I need to start training. No. You need to sign up for the race. Then you're going to start training because you signed up for the race. The hardest part is signing up.
Though, then it goes back to, then they have to sign up and work with the coach potentially to get to train, to get to where they want to go. That's where.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest. When I did my the first year or so of triathlons, I didn't have a coach.
Yeah, true.
But I found a plan online and I just put something together, and but I had a plan, right? And right. I had friends I was kind of training with, so I wasn't just out there completely out on my own trying to figure it out. But there are people who do though. But it's just everyone thinks they have to train for it before they can sign up for the event, right? And no, you have to, the heart. It's like a mental thing. Once you really make that decision to pull the plug and say, yes, I'm signing up for it, then you've made that decision. That's your conscious decision. The training part, you get a coach for it. That's the easy part, right? Training for it. Finishing is like a celebration of the work you've done.
I want to play on that because I don't disagree, but I think it's a different level. So again, working in a gym environment as well as from a training perspective.
Walking through that gym, someone who's 50 pounds overweight, you don't think signing up to walk into that gym, making the decision to walk into that gym, knowing they're overweight is not the hardest thing for them to do?
No. I've been doing this for a long time, and the hardest thing for them to do is to commit to the process.
That's the signing up part, though. That's the signing up part.
They will easily make the decision to walk in the front door. I know it's a hard decision, but they'll make the decision. Okay, so I need to lose weight. I'm going to go sign up for whatever it is, whether it's a gym membership, personal training, if it's a weight loss program, whatever those kinds of things, I'll sign up. But then it's the commitment to the process that is the hardest thing to do. And one of the things that we specialize in is building rapport and community with the person that we're dealing with right from the get-go. So as they come in, we have those kinds of people and we're building that connection. So they are in tune with coming back continuously because we're trying to constantly educate them, work with them, and have them come in. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to use any big clubs as an example, but you know them. They bank on, from a business standpoint, you coming into a club, which is easy because it's a low price point to come into a fitness center and buy that membership. But they bank on you not coming.
Right. They don't care if you come or not.
Right.
Right. They don't have a community there. They just have, salespeople at the front desk. Right.
Well, again, it's in a budget friendly position where it's a cup of coffee or 2 cups of coffee.
Right.
Something along those lines for most folks. So that's an example. But again, it's the easy fix. So to your point is, I agree with you in a variety of those kinds of things. But what I wanted to kind of add to it, though, is I think it's a lot more difficult for people to continue the process, because that's where we're in this place of, I need to have this simple remedy to get to where I want to go. I mentioned in a past podcast, I had somebody ask me point blank, I'm getting married in 30 days. Can I lose 50 pounds? And I said flat out, yeah, but in the most unhealthy way, and I'm not going to do it. So here's how I'm going to do this, whether you want to stay with me or not.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of what we're talking about, is they're looking at these things that are on social media, the internet, influencers that are saying, here, you can do this in 30 days, you can do this in 60 days or 90 days. There's a lot of things you can do in that time frame. Hands down. You're committed to it, but it's going to be a pill, or it's going to be something that's going to be a quick fix for that time being, and it's going to jack up the rest of your lifestyle, because it's going to mess with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get into that, but
But we were chatting earlier, right? And another point that came to mind, in thinking about this topic was, and kind of going back to the Lance Armstrong part where he's a father, right, and setting that example, because you have these influencers, or sometimes some of them are billing themselves as coaches as well, right?
Right.
And I know it happens on the gym side, but it happens in triathlon as well, where you have coaches who are selling a false promise, right?
Yeah.
Like the Liver King guy, right? It's just these people saying this is, take this, you're going to get there. Well, no, you're not going to get there, because that's like a bunch of horse crap.
Yeah.
Right. But I think what it unfortunately does for us, like you and I, these extended repercussions involve us, because now the trust is broken with all coaches.
Yeah, of
when
course,
someone
because they're looking at
gets
this person that they
duped
trusted
by
initially.
someone who's
Yeah,
quote unquote a coach, like, oh, well, I had a coach before and they were jerks, so all coaches suck, right? That kind of attitude, and that plays to us. So, do people like the Liver King guy, do they piss me off, even though he's not related to my field of work? Yes, it still pisses me off. Does what Lance Armstrong did piss me off? You betcha, because that's it just, I don't understand why, how you can, I don't understand how you can live with yourself and be in that position.
Well, that goes back to a lot of the reasons why we started this channel. It has a place for guys to be able to communicate these things. Again, we're not sitting here trying to beat guys up or try and be the next, let's go rah rah and go out in the woods and do all those kinds of things. But we're here as a resource, because again, we're two men that have a lifetime of experience in a lot of different variety of areas that we just want to get things out there. And when it comes to integrity, that's what we're talking about. I mean, you're talking about guys, men and women, that are out there, they're perpetrating this behavior that has become almost acceptable, because in some capacity they think that, and people are giving them the ego around it, because they're making some kind of income off of these kinds of things.
Right.
I think a lot of this obviously started with the internet, but you look at things like all these reality TV shows like the Kardashians or what have you. I'm not saying that they're at fault. What I'm saying is that is what's kind of building this momentum for all these people, that are influencers that are out there that are talking, whether it's in magazines or all the other avenues that in the media that, we're looking at. And you and I got to work with that all the time.
Yeah.
And you have to almost counter sell it. And I don't mean sell it, but you got to counterbalance the BS that's going on out there with reality.
It's, again, you got to put in the work. You got to, and I applaud the individuals who are making the conscious decision to make themselves better.
So there's no quick fix.
Right. Anyone who comes to me and says, Rob, I want to, get better. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's great. I've said it, I don't know how many times as well, right? I have an assessment that every new athlete completes. We don't go anywhere. They don't have a single workout until we have that conversation after they fill out that assessment.
Right.
Because I want to know how, and our conversation is 90% focused on the process itself, right?
So
how is it going to work?
So how do the guys that are connecting with what it is that we're talking about, how do they battle their inner dialogue about, here, let me look at this easy, what's prescribed as the easy way of doing something or getting something. It can be physical, it can be through, like a relationship or financial. You see all that kind of stuff all the time too. Get rich quick, or do this
Yeah, right.
through real estate, all that stuff. So how do we, or what do we need to address, with our audience that's going to help them, find the right direction for them that we're wanting them to get to?
Fortunately, those who come to me have, they understand, but it's like a one-on-one conversation, right? Now we're in a different platform here, where, I'm hoping that we can, through a wider scope, communicate and, allow our audience here to embrace that idea and accept that idea that it's going to come down to the work. And if you enjoy the lifestyle, if you make it a lifestyle, it's not even so much work either, right? Like, I mean, yes, you have to go do your workout, right? And it doesn't get easier just because you get faster, right? Or stronger, right? But if you're focused on the activities and the process and the lifestyle, it's ingrained in what you do. You're going to get so much more enjoyment out of that. And at the end of the day, is that what we're looking for really, is to just be happier, right? And, have more self-confidence and have more, just a healthier well-being, whatever the activity is. And so if we understand that, because if you want that quick fix, you're just going to be looking for the next best thing.
Well, the thing
right?
is,
Otherwise, it's buyer's remorse, and you're just going to be looking for that next best thing. And that's the problem that happens with these people who fall into this trap of these steroids or these quick fixes, right?
So before we get cut off here with our recording, I want to make sure that, again, the guys understand that like you said, it's a process. But it really, really comes down to looking yourself in the mirror. And if you have kids or people that are looking up to you, being able to look into their face and saying, listen, I've got integrity, I'm honest, and you can believe in the things that I say that I'm doing, right? Because if you say, for example, yeah, I'm going to be there if you need me, and then somebody calls you up and they're in need and you don't show up, that's on you, buddy, because you represented something that you falsely said you were going to be doing. So you have to, our men need to understand that the big part of this is what it is that we're doing on a daily basis, looking ourselves in the mirror and saying, okay, what kind of person do I want to be? Because all that other stuff in my mind is just basically saying I'm a cheat.
Yes. Well, and it was funny because as you're saying that, what came to my head was David Goggins. He calls it the accountability mirror.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, point blank.
You can bullshit everybody else, but don't bullshit yourself.
You can't bullshit yourself. You can try to, but when you look in the mirror, you know the goddamn truth.
Yeah.
Right. It's right there in the mirror staring you, saying, "You're a full-faced liar, you dumb son of a bitch." Right.
That's right. That's right. Well, and we're in this age where it's almost acceptable to be a cheat or a cheater or to get one over on somebody. So it's that old adage in my mind. It's not what it is that you're doing in front of people that is what matters. All right. It's what matters in the moments that you're doing things behind the scenes that are going to really represent who you are. Because if you're doing things behind the scenes that are cheater, whatever you want to call it, that's going to come out, man. There's a great quote, and I hope I hope I don't destroy this quote, but the quote is, the truth is like a lion. When you let it out, it just devours everything.
When you let it out,
it
devours everything.
Yep.
Well, we'll have to look it up on
like I said, I don't want to
the search world and revise it, I guess, for listeners here.
Sure.
But and we'll capture hopefully who the correct author is of it.
Anyway.
All right, good stuff. I hope we were able to capture a couple points here. And I think just namely, it's there are no quick fixes, right? But the solution is simple, and you have to put in the work and focus on the process. And where I say the process, right, it starts out as a process of sorts, because you have to kind of, you're changing things, you're building habits, right? But it becomes a lifestyle to an extent, right? So I've been doing this long enough myself where, yeah, I've had coaches before. I haven't had a coach more recently, but so I don't have, maybe I don't have a training plan in place right now for myself, but it doesn't mean I'm not putting in the work and allowing the process or the activities to just be a part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right. So, it builds though. You have to start somewhere. And I applaud everyone for wanting to make those changes. It's a new year and that's a good time to make those adjustments. You don't have to wait till the new year to start that. And you don't have to, you don't have to go with a coach who you don't trust. In fact, you shouldn't.
Absolutely.
So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So
stay away.
Stay away or stay awake?
Stay away. Stay away from those false.
Stay away. Yes. Yes.
No, they're going to lead you down the wrong path.
Everyone, I hope you have a fantastic new year as you get those goals and milestones planned out. I wish you well to develop those plans. You can continue developing them. You can continue to revise them throughout the year. Look forward to talking with you again over the coming weeks and throughout the next year here. I think, Marcus, we're going to be hitting our 15th podcast pretty soon here. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
It's gone by pretty quick already. I'm looking for our 10th episode to say something, and I think that was like 3 episodes ago. So,
oh well, we'll get there. Thanks, guys.
So thanks, everyone. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.